One of the things that you need to do is learn how to use that Mac that you've got sitting in front of you. And so I'm going to go through and show you how to do everything that's on the list that you can see up here on the screen. And I'm going to ask that you create your own screencast, and I'll show you how to do that in another video that shows you how, shows me that you know how to do each of these items, and you'll talk through it just like I do. So you'll be creating something that looks very similar to what I have here. So first things first, you've already logged in and we got you there earlier. So let's just start off with where the dock is and how to navigate to your documents, which is pretty important. So first off, if you take your mouse and you click down in this area, you're going to see that the dock opens up. I just hover and it shows up. The Finder is probably one of the most important parts that you're going to be opening up. It's usually located right over here on the left, and to me that looks like a person with a smiley face. And so I click on that, and that's going to give me my documents. Everything that's on my computer is listed here. This is like your file manager on your Windows laptop. So usually all of these favorites are here minus a couple of items, but what I want you to click on is documents, and yours is going to be empty. I have a few things in mine. So that's one way to find documents. Another way to find your documents is to go up here and select documents right there. I can also find my desktop if I want to try to find it. My desktop is this area back here, so if I had a file in here and I wanted to see my desktop, I would click there. Applications you don't use very often, but the two places that you see, actually three that you'll see most often, are desktop, documents, and your downloads. Yep, I've got a lot in there that I need to clean out. But I'm going to go back here to my documents. So that's how you navigate. And so I'm just going to ask in your video that you show me that you know how to get to your documents folder. And again, I most often use Finder to do it, but I could also use Go. In fact, if Finder weren't open, so let's just pretend Finder's not open. I'm going to go to Go. I'm going to go to Documents, and then it just loads up by itself. Okay, so that's the first item. We've got that done here. So I want you to be able to create a project folder. Your project folders belong in your documents folder. I have one right here under Starter Project. Now I do want to show you a couple of items. A lot of you like looking at these in different views, and there's different reasons for using the different views. Most of you like looking at things as icons. Now this is really messy when I look at it this way. It's not how I normally look at things. If you ever have a folder and you want to be looking at the icons, and remember I clicked up here, look at the icons, I can go to view and then clean up by like name or date modified. I can decide how I want to do that. But if I do that, you'll see that now I've got everything organized again, and so we don't have those extra files and folders just kind of hanging out wherever. I usually do like looking at list view, and when I look at it in list view, I can organize by the type of file, which is actually kind of nice. If I'm just looking for a JPEG or something, I can put all of the JPEGs that I have located in a folder in one spot just by, and I'll show you this in my downloads because I have so much in there right now. Click on kind, and then, well, it looks like it's not doing it right now because oh, there we go, just took a little bit of time, but now I've got everything organized by the kind. And so if I wanted to find a JPEG file, which is in here somewhere, I just have to scroll down until I find, yeah, JPEGs are right there, or at least there are some. Anyway, I'm going to go back to this documents folder and go back into my starter project. This is basically the type of project folder that you want to have for everything. So the project folder is going to contain all of your images, all your videos, all of your project files, the graphics, the exports for each one of your projects. And a project is like a video. And so you can look at it as this list, or you can look at it this way. I know that you guys usually like to look at it this way instead, so I'll just do it this way for now. Now, once you create one of these project folders, you could actually make it a template like I have right here. And then you'd be able to just copy and paste this one into, or copy this template and rename it, and then you're not going to have to create all these folders every single time, as long as all the folders are empty. So how did I create that? Let's start off with me just making a brand new one. So I want to create a new folder. I go to New Folder, right there, and then I'm going to call this Project 1. And so now I have this new folder. Now I just want to make sure that I get everything in there that I'm supposed to. I also sometimes like to do this where I get a new Finder window so I can see two things at once. Sometimes that's really helpful. I want to see my starter project template because I want to show you how to create a new file or a new project folder. I want to make sure I get all of these in there. So I've got my Project 1 folder open. Remember, I did that by going up to this gear, clicking on New Folder. I can also do a right click and get a new folder. By the way, to set up the right click, some of you don't know how to do that. Probably most of you don't know how to do that. If you go to your system preferences, and I would definitely do this sooner than later, go to mouse, and once that loads up, you want this one right here, the one that's on your right, to say secondary button, and then you just close it, and then you'll have a right click. Otherwise, you don't have a right click, and it's irritating to you. Anyway, so I created this new folder called Project 1, and I want to create a bunch of new folders. Now, if I don't click anywhere else, and if I don't change anything, I can just type right away, because you can see that there's like this outline around the name of the folder, and it's highlighted. I want to call it 01 Project. And the reason I put a number in front of it is that that kind of lists out, or makes it stay in the right order. I want my project folder to be the top folder because I go to that most often. And I'm going to keep adding new ones. So the footage folder is where you're going to be putting your video for the most part. I'm going to show you right now what happens if you click somewhere. Notice that now I can't change the name of this when I type. I have to do like a slow click. That's one way to do it. So just 2 slow clicks, or I could do a right click. I'm going to do this. I could do a right click, and I could go to Get Info, or I could change it in here, or even better, I could go to Rename, and I could go in there. So this one's going to be 03 Images, 04 Music, 05 Graphics, and 05 Exports. Let me explain what goes. Oops, it's not supposed to be 05 Exports, it's supposed to be 06. Now we're in the right order. So project folder is where your Premiere file is going to go. Footage is where your video goes. If you take any photos that you want to be in there, want to have in there, you'd put them in here. Music, this is any audio or anything that you want in there that's separate from like your footage. Your graphics, so like a slate, which is the very end of your piece that has the credits on it, your name, things like that, that goes in there. Then exports, this is where you'll be exporting your file every time you export it, and you may be exporting it several times. So that's where they should go. So this is how to create a project folder, and like I said, if you create this and don't put anything in those folders, you could then kind of rename it as what I called a template, and then every time I wanted to take this folder and create like a new project, so I'm starting a new assignment, I can go to duplicate. It has this copy, and let's just say I want to call this project 2, so this is the second assignment that I'm going to have. And go in there, it's got all those file folders in there, and I don't have to make any changes whatsoever. It's kind of nice. It definitely makes it faster. Right now I'm going to go in and I'm going to delete these 2 folders, just for my ability to keep everything straight. Okay, so there's nothing in any of these folders, and that's fine, because we'll be adding some things in there later. So right now we know how to create a project folder. This is your project folder. Now, I did just show you how to delete, but I should show you how to do it a little bit better. Let's just say that I have found some things and I don't want them anymore. So I'm going to go in here. I don't want this Fab Lab 2019 Social Media Toolkit. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to drag it. So click and drag down to the trash. That's one way. I could also take this. Don't even know what it is, but I'm going to do a right click on it and I'm going to hit move to trash. So that's another way to do it. Once I do that, if I go into trash, you'll see that I've got those items in the trash, and they're still there until I empty the trash. So I can empty the trash by doing a click on this and just clicking empty trash, and then hit empty trash. If you have a lot in there, it'll take a long time. All right, so I've shown you how to delete files and folders. How do you find a file that's lost? Well, there's a couple of ways to do this, and I'm just going to show you how to do it using Finder. Say that I have a folder or file and I know what the name is. That's probably really important. So knowing what you're naming things is important. Say that it's called GM97. All I have to do is go up here, type in GM97, and then everything that's got GM97 in it under the name will be located here. And yep, I've got a lot of GM97 items, but it's easier for me to look through this smaller section than the entire computer. Do want you to note that you can also say, so I was in the downloads folder before, so right now I'm in downloads. Let's go to the documents and say that I'm looking for GM97 just in this folder because I know that somehow I put it in this folder. I just don't remember where. If I click on this, it's going to give me stuff that's just in the documents folder, so there's less there than there was previously. So that's how I can find a file that's lost. It's not ideal. Say that I know that it was created on a certain date. I can actually say, all right, the last time that it was created is within the last 7 days. That might be helpful if you're looking for a particular file, like you exported and you're just not sure what it's called. Maybe you know that the last, the extension on it is MP4. Maybe for this I need to probably say last 30 days because it's been a while. So this is the last one that I've created. It's been a while, but MP4, this is in documents. If I wanted to look in this Mac, you'll see that I have more of them, but these were all created within the last 30 days somehow. So, you know, that's how you do that. You can also get rid of that date. I can add other kinds of things in there, like at the kind, so maybe I want it to be, I already did kind, maybe I want it to be the contents, so these are things that are contained within it. Say that I want to put like my last name in there. So this is the last thing that had my last name in it that was saved somewhere. Anyway, that's how you can, those are a couple ways to find files. You can also view something called the Launchpad, and the Launchpad is basically the place where you can view all the applications that are installed on the computer. It's a little bit easier to look at it this way, and your Launchpad is right here. So if you click on that, you can kind of scroll. It's like a click drag to do this, and this shows everything that you have on your computer. So quite often you're going to be wanting to take something like Premiere Pro here, and let's just say that you want that on your dock permanently. I can drag that down here, let go, and then it's automatically going to stay down there. I've already got one down there. Let's see, I don't have stocks already on my computer or on my docks. I'll take that, I'll drag it down here, let go, and now if I want to open stocks, I don't have to go into Launchpad anymore. I can just use my dock. So that's how you can add. Now, if you want to get rid of something, like honestly, I don't really want stocks to be there, and right now it's opening and it's taking a while. So I don't really want that to be here. I'm going to quit that file, or quit that program. If I drag it up here, that removes it. I'm going to hit cancel. I didn't want to open anyway. This Todoist right here, I can take this, drag it up here, get rid of it. Basically get rid of things that I don't want to use a ton. Don't really need Slack. See, I'm loving this. All right. So you know how to view the Launchpad. To open apps, you can either click on them. So like down here, I'm going to open up, let me see, what do I want to open up? I'm going to open up Audition. If I click on it, then it might take a while the first couple of times or the first time that you do it, but it'll start bouncing. It'll load all of the preferences, and sometimes it takes a while. And then after it's ready, and again, be patient. I'm just going to delete that one. Be patient, it'll open it. Now, if it has a little dot under it on the dock, that means that it's already open, like Premiere is already open. To quit something, I can go up here and go to File and Quit, or I can go here and do a long click on it, and I can quit there. And I don't really want that open. So those are ways to do it. And I guess there's something else to point out. Like, whatever program is active, the menu will be up here. Okay, so like right here, Finder is active. That's what it says at the very top up here. But if I wanted to click on this, which is the Notes, it's called the Notes app. If I click on the window, this is now active, and now I have the menu system for Notes. We use Premiere a lot. I'm going to click down here. I already have this open. Once I clicked on that down there, or clicked on a window that was open, I have my Premiere window or my Premiere menu activated. A lot of times people don't realize that your menu system, your main menu system, is up here on all of your programs. All right, so you know how to open apps. You also know how to close the apps. You know how to use the dock, how to put things on there, and how to remove them. And by the way, if you have something that, like Notes right here, do you see how it comes after this line right here? This is something that's not normally on my dock. It's only on my dock right now because it was opened recently. If I want to take this file, this application that I am using, and make it permanently on my dock, I can also drag it before this line, and now that'll always be on there, even if I close it. All right, so using the dock. Now, to force a quit. Now we're getting to the part where how do you wrap everything up. I've gotten the big stuff for you, but a lot of people don't realize that this Apple menu is really important. If you ever get to the point where, like, Premiere, you've waited for 5 minutes and it is not doing anything, and I mean you've waited for 5 minutes, not like 3 minutes or whatever, but 5 minutes, you might want to go up here and go up to Force Quit, and you're going to list up all the applications that are currently open. And scroll here. Now, if Premiere is in red and it says not responding after it, that means that there's a problem with it, and you can highlight the item that you want that isn't responding and then click on Force Quit. You don't need to do this for anything that's not having an issue. You can close them the normal way. Like, for example, I'm going to go to Spotify, and I can close it this way. I would only do that Force Quit if I felt like there was a problem. So I'll just show you what it looks like. It's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to highlight iTunes, click Force Quit. It's going to ask if I really want to force it. Yep, I do. And now it's gone. It's not running anymore. When you click on this, these are all the applications that are running in the background. All right, so know how to Force Quit. How do we log out? You click on your Apple menu. You can log yourself out here. You can lock your screen. So that means that you'd have to type in your password and username, or sorry, your password again if you want to get back on your computer. But that's nice if you walk away and you don't want anybody messing around with your computer. Nobody can get into it except for an administrator unless you type in your password. But that's also important. If you lock your screen and walk away and go to another class, like at the end of the hour, that means no one can use it after you've used it. I will probably come over and restart your computer or log you out and close everything that you were working on. So please don't use that as a way to kind of hold your computer, because it's not going to work. Somebody probably will have to use your computer. So that's what lock screen is. Like I said, log out, that's just like the same thing that you would use when you're logging out of your computer. That means that you're not active. You should log out at the end of every class period, every time you're done using your computer. If I ever ask you to shut down, like if you're the last class of the day that's using the computers, shutdown's right here. And it's a pretty simple process. You click on it. If you have any applications that are open, it'll close them. There may be some that need saves. So like, say that you're working on a Premiere file, which is your video file, and you haven't saved it. it will halt the shutdown until you save. And so make sure that you've gone through, saved, and closed all the applications that you're currently using before you go to shutdown. All right, so I've shown you how to do those. Now hopefully you're going to be able to create a screencast. I'm going to give you a list of all the different things that you need that's going to be a little bit more specific than this. But create a screencast explains how you do this. You're going to have to get audio and you're going to have to show me the screen itself. Okay? All right. Thank you for listening.